Aloha! Welcome to the BlueNote Fan Report. First intermission. Let's welcome in Mr. Windy City Hockey and in his studio, Mr. Lance Scott. Hey guys, that was not a bad period actually. On either side. I don't think on either side. I think the only ones that had a bad one were the refs.
I wonder who the refs are tonight, because if they're the same as last night's game, you might be in for an interesting one.
We have Michael Markovic and Kendrick Nicholson are the referees, and the linesmen are Michael Cormier and Andrew Smith.
Nope, not the same refs from last night.
Right? Yeah, that's the at least that's what I can't work with my tongue today.
I'm gonna have to disagree with the both of you. This is a boring game, and the Blues are not playing that good. The Coyotes, the Blues are making the Coyotes look like an 80-point team right now, and we have the same issues defensively. Yeah, the Blues did great in the first period. They didn't allow a lot of shots, but again, that first 10 minutes, what was there, 1 to 3 shots the Blues got on goal? You can't do that against a team that's got 46 points. Was it a bad played game?
No, actually, they only had, I think they had 4 shots, like really early.
No,
like by the 10-minute mark, it was 6-4.
No,
right?
it wasn't.
This game kind of looks like how it was played out last night in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Blues do what they do. They played Arizona's game for the first 10 minutes, and you can do that against Arizona. Husso's been decent. He hasn't really faced any he faced a couple of odd man breaks, but they weren't like solid odd man breaks. They weren't like, there was somebody there with them. The shot wasn't a great shot. So I'm not all off on that. And you know what, guys, I got to ask a question real quick. Somebody who's followed this show from the beginning has kind of brought something to my attention, and I want to bring it out to you guys. He thinks that we should open the language up to basically whatever language, and I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't need the F-bombs, right? But I also don't. I want to keep things semi-professional. I get that this is not, I'm not on a radio. I know I'm not FCC guided and things like that. But, what is the proper amount of language? What language can we work with? What language?
What I've always felt, I think Wendy will agree with me. There's times like I think a couple games ago, Wendy and I came on after a second period or after the game, and you were dropping the F-bomb, and him and I were laughing and smiling about it. There's times where people, do get upset and they say things.
Yeah.
I would hate to see you guys go to a format that's similar to somebody that used to be on the show that reacts to the Blues. I'm not going to say who it is.
I know where you're at.
And he drops the F-bomb every 2 minutes, shows up on his show high as a kite. And to me, that's just unprofessional. You can see it sometimes on ESPN and other places where somebody will say, damn, or something like that.
They censor themselves.
Yeah. I don't see a problem with that. And again, it's your show. If you want to go to that and you want to drop an F-bomb all the time, that's up to you. But I think it makes you look not as smart. And I've always thought that, even when I was a little kid. Yeah. When kids would come up to me, make fun of me because of my thick glasses and call me all kind of names and call me an MF, this and that. And it would just make me feel like they were so stupid. If you're in a moment like you were last week, you were passionate, you were upset. Not that I would necessarily do that, but hey, I understood why you did that. I think there's a time and place for people to be upset. You can't just go, man, that was an effing good period. That effing Perron, he was effing. You can't do that.
Yeah, no, and I get that. And it's just, and I guess I try and limit it. I do want to the show to have somewhat of a
you've got to have passion. Yeah, you got to have passion.
I think what they're talking about is not letting guys, like I wouldn't show it in the chats and things like that. So I don't know. I don't want to lose fans over that. And you're right, it may open it up, but at the same time, am I opening it up to, I don't know.
Well, one thing you got to look at, Guy.
It really is. It's a hard thing to weigh.
One thing you got to look at, Guy, is look at people like Ashley, who watched the show before she came on it. They've got little kids. If I had little kids like that, I don't want my little kids watching mommy on a show or watching, you know, somebody they know or on a show, just dropping the F-bomb here and there. And I think you've done it great. You've read people's comments and left the bad words out. I don't, you're still reading their comments. You're just not showing them to people.
Ryan Green, see now there's the thing. Ryan Green says, and I want to address this a little bit. You know, the person that did this, that was just yelled and screamed. I mean, look, that's his thing, and that's fine, but it doesn't elevate the class of the show. It doesn't elevate the show, and really, you know, it's a tough thing. I'm in a rock and a hard place, and I wanted to bring that up. I know we're supposed to talk hockey, but this is your show too. I always say it's about the fan, so I want that bringing up, you know.
Yeah, like over on my channel, I try to censor myself because I know I have younger audience to keep it where it makes sense, because I have cousins who watch it and they're like 10 and stuff. So I want to keep that on my side. I don't cuss. I just basically bleep myself out by saying like words that mean the same word.
Yeah.
I would, if I drop the F-bomb, I'm not dropping the F-bomb.
Yeah, so Matt Lowe doesn't like this. Matt Lowe doesn't like
I love that.
It's a little hard on the ears.
I love that. I think that's great.
I only use that on one of my videos ever in my channel, and it happened against the Edmonton Oilers in the qualifier round in 2020.
Yeah. No, you know, when it came down to it was that moment that I was in, you know, it was a tough game, you know, and you started getting these guys saying those things. And, you know, I just, at that moment, it was the right thing to do, but I don't want it to be, you know, I even use it. I mean, I even use it sometimes as a, you know, I post it in that, but I don't want it to be the reason why someone's watching the show. I want them to watch the show because of the knowledge.
Yeah, I think what you're trying to say is, Guy, and I think Wendy and I both understand you, is, you want to have a good show, but if you say a word, you said it. You know, you don't want it to be the focus of the show.
Exactly.
But you know, last week you were upset and you said it, and it was done with. It was a heat of the moment. You're passionate, and I think you'll find there's some very successful podcasts. A hockey podcast, baseball podcast, to where they follow more of a professional type discussion like we have here. And every now and again, you'll hear them say something, you know, and it just happens from time to time.
Oh, now Jeff's really trying to get me in trouble. I love it.
Yeah, that will really take you off YouTube. And
I got to tell you guys a story real quick talking about that.
Yeah.
I was about 15, 16 years old, and I went to the Cardinals baseball game in the old Busch Stadium. Would have been in the 80s, 84, 85. And we got bleacher seats. First time I ever sat in the bleacher seats. And it was me, my buddy, and his dad, and my brother. And we're sitting there, and all of a sudden people start cheering, and we look over about 10 feet to our left. There's 30 guys there from a bachelor party, and this stripper starts stripping. She got almost all of her clothes off. And then as soon as her bottom came off, I'm not joking. It was like there was no police or security around. As soon as that bottom came down, there was 50 guys all over them, and they just kicked them out. And just that naked girl thing made me think of it real quick.
No, I remember.
It was the strangest thing in the world. Just all of a sudden you're watching baseball and you look over and like, oh my God.
Oh no, there was things like that. So here's Ryan Green's the guy's problem is that he's beeps that says the F word for everyone.
Yeah, you have done that before.
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't figured out how to get this on just enough of a delay that I could still beep what I'm saying. You know, I got to like have my finger on the button. Look, here's what I want to say. If you guys want to curse in the chat room, you have every right to curse in the chat room. Right?
I would say this. Sometimes YouTube does block it out immediately if they do see it. So there is a chance that the social media platform that you're on is actually censoring it out before even a moderator can get to it.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you want to curse in the chat room, you're fine. I may or may not show it. And actually, because of something that's going on, I have a stalker who is stalking and harassing me and harassing you guys. I may get to the point where I don't show Facebook comments anymore, right? And you know, so at that, I you know, I want to keep the show. I don't mind PG-13. You know, shit. I served 20 years. There's a time and place for that word. There's a time and place for just about every word. I used to joke with friends. I could say a complete sentence and only use the F word, and you know exactly what I was talking about. Right? I know I can use it, but it doesn't make me more intelligent. It doesn't make me better. It doesn't elevate. And that's what I want to do. I want to elevate things.
Yeah. The question when you're talking about keeping things in a show or adding things in a show, does it benefit the show?
Yeah.
Does it educate the person listening to it more? In my mind, no, it doesn't. But like I said, you were passionate and you don't always drop F-bombs. It's not like every show you're dropping them, but when you get upset, you get heated and you say some things.
All right, here we go, Kevin. I'll show this one. You know, there's a time and a place, and Tanner even says it. Tanner knows me pretty well. You can say the F word and make a complete sentence out of it. Absolutely, I can.
Hey, I don't want to necessarily leave this, but hey, I think I was right. The Blues are making their goalie look really good. He's had to make a couple good saves. He's had to make more saves than Huso's had to make, but he's looked pretty good.
Yeah, you're right. There we go, Ryan. There we go, Ryan. I'm with you on that one. See, that I'm okay with, and I know what you're talking about, and that doesn't hurt the show, and that's what it comes down to. So let's get over, now that we've dealt with that, let's talk about the stats. So the Arizona Coyotes took 7 shots, had 5 blocked, missed the net 3 times. So if my math is right, that's a total of 15 attempts. They had 2 hit. No, they had 1 hit. One fucking hit. 1 giveaway, 3 takeaways. The face-off battle, they lost it 5-11 for 31% to 69%. Blues had 10 shots in that period. 4 that were blocked, 8 that missed the net. So they had a total of 22 attempts. They had 10 hits. So they're using the body out there. And that's what I thought I saw. 4 giveaways. This is a number that number keeps going up and it keeps concerning me. And only 4 takeaways. It just seems like the Blues are not a puck control team like they need to be. Right. And I every time that I read those stats, I just get higher and higher and more out of it. So that's kind of where I'm at that. Missed the open nets. I'm there. Sprinkle the F word like it's parsley. It's a good discussion. Our second is a better. So I'm saying 3-1 after 2 periods. You know, I don't know. Here lately, the second hasn't been a better period, though it was against Edmonton, right? It was against Edmonton, and they've been better in the third lately. CSI cursing is a second language. Learn it in the military. Kevin, you're absolutely right. I did learn it in the military. Sometimes I say, yeah, you know, I'm with you there, Wendy. Yeah, you know what? I worked with a lot of Filipino guys, and I don't know if you've ever worked with Filipinos. Their PH, their sounds, you know, you get a Filipino guy cussing and it's, puck it, I'm so fucking mad at that fucking person. It's something to watch. Oh, we got Jose here. I think Walker's got more refs than reps. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Jose. More reps maybe? I'm not sure. This period, what do the Blues need to do, or what does Arizona? I'll ask Wendy first. What does Arizona need to do in this period to get a lead?
Well, they're going in with power play, aren't they?
Yeah, minute of power play time.
Yep.
Well, last night, if they do what they did last night, they had a power play to go into the start of a period, and they were coming in on an attack, moving the puck well, and they can, if they want to do it, they can potentially come out, do the same attack they did last night in Chicago, and maybe get one past the net in St. Louis.
Yeah. And for you there, Lance, what do you think the Blues need to do in the second period?
I think the Blues needs to come out with a barrage of shots, put everything you can on the net because he's a young goaltender. And if you watch him, and I know you guys do, if you watch him, have you noticed how slow he is to respond after he makes a save? How slow he is to get up, how slow he is side to side. And we all saw it. Was that Buchnevich or was that Saad?
Saad.
Yeah. Saad could have held on to that puck for 2 more seconds and had almost an open net.
A wide open net. Yeah. He could have.
He's really slow.
He could have done a Zegras on that. He was so wide open.
He's really slow in responding after making a save and getting back up and getting himself in the right position to make another save. So put him on net, have guys in front of the net for rebounds. And I think if they do that, they'll come out of this period ahead.
Hey, Lance, just before we get into this, into the second, do you think Walker has earned himself another stint with the Blues?
I think Walker's the kind of guy that when you need a spark or when you need somebody to come in and get you a goal now and again, get you a couple goals, I think he's a fringe AHL, NHL player. That's just what he is. I think he's a guy, like I said, that can play out. If you're going to play him in an 82 game season, I think he's the type of guy that can come in and play 35, 40 games, give you 8 to 12 minutes, something like that. I hope the Blues don't rely on him, but hey, he's been coming through. And when you're coming through like that, you play the hot hand. And if he continues to play well, play him. And when he starts playing bad, do what you need to do with him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the guy's sitting at a half a goal a game, right? This season. Yeah. I think he's finally found that niche where he's at. And I actually think he fits in well with the Blues style of play. So I'm very happy with him. And I'd like to see them re-sign him because I think you can get him for a mil. Maybe 1.25 for 2 years again.
I think you can get him very cheap. Hello, Jason.
Yeah. Right. Wendy, would you like Walker on the Blackhawks?
Honestly, I haven't seen much of Walker, so
no, fair enough.
I need to look more into Walker's play to see how I would feel if I would want him on Chicago or not.
I want to ask Wendy one question real quick.
Yep.
If you were the Blackhawks GM and you could do something over, would you not do the Nick Schmaltz trade? Or would you do it?
I would do it.
Okay.
I would do it. Because Dylan Strome has proven to be this year, he's proven to be a number 1 center on this team.
Yep.
Where he's between Alex DeBrincat and Patrick Kane. Before he came to Chicago, Arizona didn't know how to develop Dylan Strome.
Okay, guys, sorry to do this, but the game's back on. We'll see you at the second intermission. Aloha.